All right, let's dive into one of the most incredible chapters of the Quran, revealed right in the heart of Mecca, Surah Al-Jinn. This isn't just any story. It's a story about an audience from a completely unseen world.
I mean, just think about that for a second. It kind of flips everything we assume on its head, right? This story suggests that the very first beings to hear the Quran really get it and then rush out to share its message weren't from our world at all.
Now, to really feel the weight of this moment, you've got to picture the world where it all went down. We're in Mecca, and in Mecca, pretty much everything, power, money, who you were, it was all wrapped up in the worship of countless idols. This was a society totally immersed in superstition, where people really believed fortune tellers held all the answers.
And in this world, people absolutely believed in the jinn. Now, we're not talking about simple ghosts or spirits. In Islamic tradition, these are intelligent beings, created from a smokeless fire. But here's the most important thing you need to know about them. Just like us, they have free will. They get to choose what they believe.
So, it's into this exact environment that the Quranic revelation starts. And this new message? Oh, it was radical. It didn't just suggest adding another god to the collection. No, it said there is only one God, and that all those other practices were fundamentally wrong. It was a direct challenge to the entire spiritual and social fabric of Mecca.
The whole message really centered on a few powerful, totally transformative ideas. First, the sheer power of the Quran's words. Then, the absolute oneness of God, a concept we know as Tawheed. It also clarified the limits of unseen knowledge, and it laid out a clear path to true guidance, away from all the superstitions.
Okay, so let's get into it, because this is where our story really kicks off. We're talking about a secret, pivotal encounter that was about to have some pretty major cosmic consequences. Just try to imagine the scene. The Prophet Muhammad is reciting the Quran, maybe by himself in the quiet of the desert night. He has no idea he has an audience. But a small group of jinn are just passing by, and they stop, drawn in by these strange, beautiful, and incredibly powerful words.
And they weren't just a little curious, they were completely spellbound. The clarity, the raw power, the truth in that recitation, it just hit them like a lightning bolt. It was like nothing they had ever heard before.
So, what happened next? What do you do when you hear something that earth-shattering? Well, their reaction was immediate. It was decisive. For them, this wasn't something to go away and debate for a while. The truth of it was just obvious. They didn't waste a single moment. They rushed back to their own community and declared what they'd found. Their testimony was so simple, so direct. This Quran guides to truth. They became its first advocates, its very first missionaries, to their own kind. And you know, of all the amazing things they heard, one concept just stood out above everything else. It was the central pillar, the one idea that completely dismantled that polytheistic world of Mecca. This was the absolute core of it all. Allah is one, period. Not one God among many, but the one and only Creator, the only one who deserves any worship. For the jinn and for the Meccans, this was the most revolutionary idea imaginable. The jinn also realized that something else extraordinary had happened. See, they used to try and eavesdrop on the heavens, trying to snatch bits of information to pass on to fortune tellers. But now, all of a sudden, they found the skies were guarded by shooting stars. It was a cosmic sign that the age of revelation was here, and the divine message was now sealed and protected from any interference. So this idea, this understanding of God's oneness, it had a very practical side to it. It meant that all places of worship, all masjids, belonged to Allah and Allah alone. No one else should be called upon or worshipped alongside him. It was a call for pure, direct, unadulterated worship. And this is where the jinn's experience becomes so much more than just a strange story about the unseen. It's actually a universal lesson. It holds a mirror right up to every single one of us. What's so fascinating is that even after this powerful, direct encounter with the truth, not all the jinn accepted the message. Just like humanity, they had a choice. Some heard it and they embraced it. They chose the righteous path. But others heard the same exact thing and just turned away. For the ones who did believe, though, it meant a complete and total break from their past. It demanded a firm rejection of all that superstition, of seeking knowledge from fortune tellers. Instead, it meant placing one's complete trust in the one who actually knows the unseen.
So, what are the big lessons we can take away from these unseen listeners? Well, first,
that the Quran's guidance isn't just for humans, it's for all creation. Second, that real strength and clarity comes from understanding Tawheed, the oneness of God. Third, that this means putting our ultimate trust in Him alone, not in superstitions. And finally, it's a huge warning to avoid shirk, the one great mistake of associating anyone or anything with the Creator.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to reflect on, doesn't it? The jinn heard this message and a group of them instantly believed it and acted on it. Their story really challenges us to ask ourselves, if beings from the unseen world were so profoundly moved by this guidance, what does that mean for us? Where is our own path leading?